this film resulted in one of the best photo ops that I've seen recently, which was you at the New York Stock Exchange ringing the opening bell.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of like visiting the scene of the crime. But you know, I thought they were so enthusiastic there and sweet and welcoming and excited about, they loved their stock exchange. I thought, I should buy some stocks. I mean, I don't know why I'm fighting it, you know, the warm, friendly, fuzzy face of people. It was terrific.
I thought, well, first of all, I thought you've got great publicists to set that up. It was just a great.
I think. I mean,
yeah.
and in the halls of the stock exchange, as you go towards the floor, they have very high-tech glass walls that have many screens embedded in them, and they're all showing clips from this movie. And they all said, "We're dying to see this movie. We can't wait." Press the button now.
Well, it opens tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. And I checked the Dow Jones after your day there, and it seemed to do okay. It was stable. Everything went fine. So when it was a curious thing reading the book, the DeLillo novel, because reading it, knowing that you had adapted it into a film, there were so many sort of suggestions of Cronenberg films in the novel. There were just things about it. I guess the focus on cars and some of the sort of themes and imagery. I'm just wondering what your response was just when the book was given to you.
I didn't see any of that, but that's okay because I'm pretty much invisible to myself, honestly. That's something that Eric Packer might have said. That's true. Or Benno,
right,
by Paul Giamatti.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see that. I did respond to it really because of the dialogue, particularly. When it was proposed to me by the Portuguese producer Paulo Branco, I read it and I thought the dialogue was fantastic. And I had read several of Don's books, but I had not Cosmopolis. And his dialogue, it does remind me of Harold Pinter or David Mamet in that it's very stylized, but it's also the way people talk at the same time. There's a great tension between the stylization and the reality. But the thing about Mamet and Pinter, of course, is that they're playwrights, and you get to hear their dialogue spoken. And nobody's ever heard DeLillo's dialogue spoken, unless he, I guess, was reading it out at some reading I don't know about. So I thought I would really love to hear this dialogue spoken by wonderful actors, and only in retrospect do I sort of feel that, in a weird way, and in a really good way, that is completing Don's process, because his dialogue is very hard and crystalline and slightly unreal and slightly disconnected, as his characters are. But at the same time, underneath it, there's great human despair and passion and obsessiveness. And I thought if you have an actual human being with a face and a voice speaking this stuff, that's going to bring the human element to the fore.
This is something we were talking about before, because the film has such an interesting tone to it. And I've seen it twice now. The first time I saw it, I had a response that it was had a very sort of almost deadpan humor to it. I just responded to the comedy in it. And then I found it much more emotional the second time. I mean, somehow I just sort of getting used to what the film was, and I saw how intimately you had filmed it.
You are my perfect audience.
Right, so...
because it's easy to say that the film is cold, but I have to say that I find by the end of it, I find it quite emotional myself. And so obviously it pleases me if you have the same sort of dual kind of reaction to it.
We could run it again right now and see how people like it the second time.
But certainly Rob Pattinson, when he read it, he thought it was a comedy. He loved the humor, and he saw that right away.
Yeah, but it's actually filmed in a very intimate. I mean, of course, it's filmed in an intimate style. You're in this enclosed space, so that can.
Yeah, well, I like that. I mean, people talk about the challenge of shooting in a limo, and of course, it's not a real limo. It's kind of a Lego limo. It comes apart in about 25 pieces, and it splits sideways and lengthwise, and the roof comes off, and it's on casters. It's not really. When we're inside it, we're not in a real limo, but. I realized that I actually like confined spaces, shooting in them. There's a kind of intensity and a compression that's forced on you, and it's it's like a haiku, it's like writing a sonnet. The rules are very tight, and it forces you to be inventive visually. I showed my crew the movie Lebanon, which takes place entirely inside an Israeli tank. And also Das Boat, I suggested, because it's all in a submarine, and just to sort of encourage don't despair. There are really interesting things we can do here, especially if we build the limo in a way that it really can come apart, because you can really do a crane shot in it. So very tricky for the actors because they don't really. It's very, especially since I was shooting with very wide-angle lenses. So that means that if you're shooting with a long lens, a normal kind of portrait lens, this far away, and you're in close-up. But with a tight lens, I'm here, or even closer, and so the camera's really right in their face all the time. And even if there's somebody on beside the camera that they're doing the lines with, the camera's really present. So the machininess of it is very much in their face, literally and metaphorically. And I thought it was perfectly appropriate given the kind of weird machine bubble that Packard builds for himself. It's really a tank. It is a tank. It is a submarine. It's also kind of a tomb, and it's also kind of a spaceship for him.
So could you talk a bit about I guess, about casting Robert Pattinson, what that meant, how that came about? It's an amazing performance, and I think in all of your films, I think this is the one that's most reliant on one actor, who's I think he's in every scene.
Every scene, yeah. And even in a big, let's say Tom Cruise movie or something, you won't find Tom in every scene,
Right.
And but this is a movie in which he is in every scene, which is what terrified him. Actually, it took me about 10 days to talk him into doing the movie. He knew it was good, and he, given his what kind of stardom he has, he gets a lot of offers for very boring, awful movies. Which, this is, by his own, it's not even an admission, he can say it. They're all very predictable and so on. When he got the script, he was really excited because it was so different, and the dialogue was so, fantastic and surprising and strange. But he was afraid because he didn't want to be the guy who brought it down by not being good enough. And this often happens with actors, and some of them very experienced and very, lauded, and they think, wow, am I really the right person for this? Is there not someone who would do it better? Would you not be better off with someone? And they're not just playing games and wanting to say, oh yeah, you're the guy. They're serious about it. They're not sure. And for Rob, it was a gift for him to get this offer. This is what he felt. I wasn't feeling it in that way. But anyway, you need star power to get a movie financed. This movie cost 15 million euros, which is about $19 million. But that's about the top for an independent film that's done as a European, let's say, candidate. This was a France co-production. €1 more than that, you're in a whole other category of government stuff, and it's very difficult to raise more money than that. So this was an expensive movie, in independent terms, and you need star power. But that's always true, it doesn't really matter how small the budget is these days. You have to have star power.
I guess one of the things about the performance, though, is that it's intimate in that all the scenes are with other people. All of the scenes, they're not monologues. These are scenes where he's in an intimate, interesting relationship, whether it's sexual or the whole scene with Paul Giamatti is an incredibly intimate scene.
Yeah.
And you even make it a bit more so than in the novel, where I think